Here's part 2. So for this part, you're going to be working 4 through 13, but I'm going to do 4, 5, and 6 for you. What you need to do is, after you watch the video, just like we do in class, remember I have you watch me in class, and then I'll let you go back and I'll let you write all of the notes down that I just took. That's what you need to do now. You need to watch the video once all the way through, and then go back and watch it again and pause at the end of each problem and write it down, okay? Because if you don't, you are not going to have a good understanding of it. So that's what you need to be sure to do. Our objective for this lesson is that you will be able to independently work problems to find the area model and the partial products. Remember, I'm on the left-hand side of the screen now. This is partial product, but that part is the part that's confusing. So everything right here, this is also helping you find the product, and it's a visual. And I bet that 95% of you guys are visual learners. Miss Carrie definitely is. All right, so here we go. Let me get my red pen. Let's do purple. All right, so when I write with red, I have flashbacks from high school sometimes because my teachers always graded in red. And I was like, and they marked problems wrong with, the ones you missed, it was in red. And so every time I would get my papers back, especially for writing and for math, there would be red all over my papers, and it would look like somebody got cut and was bleeding on my papers. Not really that bad, but it just reminds me of high school and how it made me feel really bad. So anyway, I'm not going to use red. I try not to use that when I grade. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but that's why. Okay, so I've already set it up just to save us some time. So here I've got 10 times 18, and I just pulled that from over here on this side, okay? Let me change that color too. So to set it up, all right, so look, you see my 10s here, there's a 1, all right? So 1 times 10 is 10. That's where this one comes in. And then here, there's a 0. Well, I don't want to put a 0 over here because if I do, all of my work's going to be wrong, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I've got to set up 18. So 1 is in the tens place here, and it goes, what? Oh, hold on. Bag it up, Terry. Okay, so here we go. Now, here for 10, the 1 is in the 1's place, and 10 times 1 is what? 10. Mucho, very good. Muy bien. And then here, I've got zeros in the 1's place, but I don't want to put 0 here because when I do, everything I multiply by 0 is going to be 0, and that's going to make everything wrong. So now here, in the tens place, I've got a 1. 1 times 10 is 10. And then I've got an 8 in the 1's place. 8 times 1 is 8. So now I've got to find the partial products, okay? So in order to find the partial products, remember I've got to get in my little elevator. So I'm starting out at floor 10. I'm getting in my elevator, and then I'm going up. Okay? So 10 times 10. All right, so here's 10, and here's 10. So 10 times 10 equals 100. And sometimes, like when you take standardized testing and when you start taking notes and you get in high school, you'll see it written like 10 times 10. That just means rather than putting an X, they put that little dot in there. Still equals 100. And let's see, I just thought of another way. 10, sometimes it'll be written like that. That still means 10 times 10, okay? That's 100. There was another way I wanted to show you, and it just left my brain. Anyway, so 10 times 10 is 100. And now I've got to get in my elevator right here on floor 8. I got to hop on, and then I got to go up, all the way up. And I'm going, and then I've got 10. So 8 times 10 equals 80, right? Perfect. So now I'm still not finished. Now I got to multiply 100 times 80. Not multiply, add. So 100 plus 80 equals 100. I'm just going to double check it and do this the long way. 18 times 10. I've got 1 0. 1 times 8 is 8. And 1 times 1 is 1. 180 rather than 100. Number 5. Moving on. So here we've got 28. All right, so I've got 20 set up here. 2's in the tens place. 2 times 10 is 120. Here I've got 8. 8 is in the ones place. 8 times 1 is 8. Okay? And now here I've got to break 38 apart. So I've got 3 in the tens place. This 3 times 10 is 30. Okay? And here I've got an 8 in the ones place. 8 times 1 is 8. So here I'm at 30. And I've got to hop on my elevator. Hop on in, I'm going up and I'm listening to some elevator music. So it's 30 times 20. Okay? I don't do my math just yet. Now my next step, I've got to multiply 30. Hop on my elevator. Move it on up. 30 times 8 is what? 240. Okay? Well, I shouldn't have done that. I got ahead of myself. I always skip that step, but it's just because I always skip this step when I'm doing it on my own. But that's because I'm used to doing that. You guys are not, so you definitely need to do it this way. So we've got 8. Got to get on my elevator. I'm on floor 8. I got to go all the way up. And it's 20. So 20 times 8. Okay. And now I'm on my elevator again. And I'm going up to 8. So here we've got 8 times 8. Now what I've got to do is I have to do my, I've got to multiply everything and find the products. So 30 times 20. I've got 1, 2 zeros, 1, 2 zeros. And now 3 times 2 is 6. So that's 600. And over here, I've got 1 0. And then I know that 3 times 8 is 240. And down here, we've got 1 0. And then 2 times 8 is 16. And then over here, I know that 8 times 8 is 64. So now what I have to do is, I'm going to erase some of this. I'll have room to write. So now I'm going to add 600 plus, and this is where the 600 came from, 160 plus 240 plus 64. So 4, and then 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 6 is 16, carry my 1. 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8, plus 2 is 10, so 1,064. Last one we're doing together. Now here we've got 51 times 12. All right. All right, hold on. I see an error that I made. You know why? Because it's 11:52 and Miss Kara needs to be up in the bed. Okay, so 51. Here is how I divided up 50 plus 1. So 5 is in the tens place. 5 times 10 is 50. 1 is in the ones place. 1 times 1 is 1. Now here, the 1 is in the tens place. Ta-da! 1 times 10 is 10. 2 is in the ones place. 2 times 1 is 2. All right? So now what I've got to do is I've got to go through and find the partial products. So I'm doing 10 times 50. So here's 10 and here's 50. So 10 times 50. And now I've got to do 10 times 1. 10 times 1. I've got to come to the bottom row. Here we've got 2 in the ones place. Okay. First I've got to do 2 times 50. And then 2 times 1. Now I went ahead and wrote these out. This just means we've got to find the partial products and then we write the partial products here. So 10 times 50. Alright, the way I figure that out is I've got 2 zeros and then 1 times 5 is 5. So that partial product, I'm going to write it right here, 500. Because see, I got 500. And now I'm going to work on 2 times 50. I'm going to put my 0 there. 2 times 5 is 10. So my partial product is 100. Okay? Now, over here, I've got to multiply and find my partial product, which is 10. And then 2 times 1 is 2. So, if I add these two together, 500 plus 100, I get 600. And then 10 plus 2, I get 12. So 600 plus 12 equals 612. All right? I want you to work 4 through 13. And then in the next lesson tomorrow, we'll do the back.